Update to the tweet that started it all. We do have an update. This is neither the time nor the place. What this is the time and place for is talk about some of these NBA playoff debuts, which they have been plentiful. A lot of players seeing this stage for the first time and definitely answering the call. So, Arda, we're going to go in descending order from the fifth most impressive to the most impressive NBA playoff debut. A ton of good series. Let's start with number 5.
I mean, you can just fill my top 5 right now, couldn't you?
Something tells me, based off of the ensemble today, it would look a bit.
If we were to do this, yep.
Like.
Not bad, yep. Yep, go
this,
ahead, keep going, yep. RJ number 2.
And then Julius just gets it.
He gets it twice?
Yeah, no, for sure, because that's what Arda's dream world looks like, but we're professional journalists, right. Arda, so give me number 5.
You could actually keep Obi Toppin there. So, listen. I get it. Statistical analysis, performance on the court. That's what we're focusing on. But here's the thing. For me, I want to talk about a moment in a player's history. Obi Toppin, New York kid, grew up, the New York Knicks, lifeline of that city. Then you get drafted by the Knicks, loving basketball your whole life. Now you have an opportunity to play for the Knicks at Madison Square Garden in the postseason. There's a frenzy already with how sad it's been for Knicks fans all these years, and now you see them play in the postseason at the Garden, and then you get that alley-oop and that dunk, and the place comes unglued. They're chanting your name, O.B., O.B., and who is there to witness it all? Your mom. Tears of joy streaming down her face. You will never forget a moment like that as a professional, and let me tell you something. That's why it'll be unforgettable, and that, to me, is a great start to your career.
You almost got me. The heartstrings are being tugged upon. But get him out of the paint. We're talking about numbers here, and I have to put in Julius Randle because Obi Toppin doesn't get that moment if Julius Randle isn't the most improved player throughout the course of this season, the undisputed leader of this team. He and Tibbs had something special going on. Even though the first 2 games he's kind of gotten out of the gate a bit sluggish, but it's because of him they're even in this position playing Game 3 tonight in Atlanta.
You're absolutely right. The Hawks have had an answer for him in Game 1, but that second half of Game 2 has been great for Randle. If that can continue, then we're going to have that glow-up Julius Randle on our hands.
Okay, so let's go to number 4, and I think this so far has been one of the biggest surprises so far in the NBA playoffs, and I'm talking about that 8-1 matchup against the Grizzlies and the Suns. Where is Dillon Brooks? There he is. Dillon Brooks, who led Game 1 in a Grizzlies win. Nobody expected that, right? The 8-1. So no matter what happens for the rest of this series, I think Grizzly fans need to take away this is one of the youngest teams in the league, and they beat the wire-to-wire best team record-wise in the association, and they gave them one hell of a fight in Game 2. If it wasn't for Donovan Mitchell coming back, who knows? The Grizz could be taking the series back to Memphis up 2-0.
Let me tell you something. Mississauga, Ontario native, fellow
Canadian. Shouts to Canadian.
Yeah, he's got that wit. He can get in your mind, okay? He made Damian Lillard trash talk, okay? That's near impossible. Now look at him. He's getting in people's heads, people.
73% from the field in Game 2. Of course, it was a loss. But if Dillon Brooks, Ja Morant, and even Grayson Allen contributing from 3, the Grizzlies making a little bit of noise. All right, number 3, I got to go with my guy, D-Book. I love how he kind of had a bit of a heel turn. Right? AD, okay. Oh, that was a cheap shot. Devin Booker, he's like the finesse guy. He's been waiting 6 years to get his Suns to this point. And I know we talk about this all the time, but I think this is a direct extension from their performance last year in the bubble. They got a taste of that success, and D-Book has the Suns right now playing decent. They're down obviously 2-1 against the Lakers, but his debut so far, been nice.
Yeah, and not only that, his passing is a key to this series, right? He's creating space. He's often double-teamed. So the more he executes his passing, the more the Suns have better chances.
Now, obviously, depending on what happens with CP3 and that shoulder, we'll see what happens with the Suns in the rest of this series. They might eventually be flaming out because they obviously need that duo if they're going to continue making noise in that series against the Lakers. All right. So at number 2, and we had a little bit of a debate between this. Are we going to give him the 2 spot? Are we going to give him the 1 slot? I still kind of disagree with us putting him here.
Okay.
But you're the elder statesman on this couch.
Thank you for calling me old. I appreciate it. There we go.
You like that?
That's 2 right there.
Trigger.
Let's
Taking
go.
the series back to Atlanta, and I love everything so far that he's done in the first 2 games. He is the villain, and if you can be the biggest villain in the biggest market in the entirety of the world, you've already done your job, and do not disrespect him, Arda. Do not disrespect him. I see the sign in your hands.
All I'm going to do is once we come back to studio here, I'm going to show you exactly what I have here. But Trae Young, man, that just shushing the crowd. Game 1, that is iconic. So much so that Knicks fans had to create this, okay? I'm not throwing any slander. I'm just showing you what they created. By the way, read the very bottom. Can I just tell you?
Is it a disclaimer?
This would be a much more effective chant to take advantage of home court and throw Trae off his game. To talk about his hairline, people, okay? That's what needed to be done in order to take Trae Young off of his game, because that's how good he was in Game 1.
And you still couldn't. People were spitting on him, the most disrespectful thing. Please, guys.
Do not do that.
Be a human. Treat these players with some freaking respect.
Right.
But he shushed MSG, your beloved Knicks, so I give Trae Young the 2 spot. Now he's at home taking this series back to Atlanta. I expect nothing but bigger things when he gets to sleep in his own bed for the next 2 games in that series. And the #1 playoff debut slot going to. This shouldn't be too much of a surprise. I mentioned it off top. This was one of the most surprising starts to this series because nobody expected Memphis to go into Utah, at least I didn't, and steal Game 1. Ja Morant had 47 points in a Game 2 loss. However, what he's doing and the position he has the Grizzlies in just now his second season at 21 years old, he's not playing like a second-year pro at 21 years old on the biggest stage in the NBA.
Yeah, Donovan Mitchell said this about Ja Morant after Game 2. He said, he goes out there and competes. Tonight was aggressive from the jump. At a young age, for him to be able to have that is special. That's something I respect about him and his game. He doesn't quit. And we haven't seen him quit. That's the thing. He is so effective shooting, like you said, 47 points. I mean, he is playing like a seasoned NBA veteran in the postseason, and he just got started.
And I do want to make a point that everybody, aside from Ja Morant on this list, you have Devin Booker, a 6-year pro, Dillon Brooks, a 4-year pro, Ja Morant in his 2nd year, Julius Randle, a 7-year pro, and Trae Young in his 3rd year. So it's not like these guys have just burst onto the scene. This has been a steady crescendo for these guys having to take their lumps, and finally, on the grandest of stage, actually answering the call. So it's been fantastic. Obviously, we've seen Julius Randle do things. Obi Toppin, shout out to him. Honorable mention. And, of course, Trae Young in that 2 spot. Game 3 tonight, Julius Randle. More fireworks versus Trae Young in Game 3. Knicks versus Hawks. That one should be a doozy. Tip-off in just a couple minutes.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming, sports, and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.